Hello, everybody, and welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Fantasy Premier League. My name's David.
Well done, mate. My name's James. And considering I couldn't pull that off last week, well done for you to managing to get that right. Welcome, David, to your Planet FPL Game Review podcast debut.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, first hurdle overcome. Got my name right. You got your name right, so there's something to build on there.
Yeah, probably both want to change football teams this week. Me and David have come to a mutually beneficial agreement prior to this podcast that in honor of our mental health, we're only going to cover 7 games on
Yeah,
this podcast. So there'll be
just keep
no
it
chat
snappy.
about
Yeah,
Liverpool or Tottenham
yeah.
on this podcast. So smash a like and see you later. No, we'll do them. We'll do them. We'll cover all the games as per usual. Me and David are both on Wildcard this week. I know a number of you are going to be on free hit. There's a lot of FPL consequence from the weekend, heading obviously into a very busy period of the season. How was your free? You've just done your free hit. It's not over yet, obviously. How was it?
It's gone okay. Yeah, it could have gone better. Could have gone worse. I'm on 45 points with Bruno Fernandes and Bumo to come tonight. So I'm on a green arrow. It probably will be something
Should
incredible
be.
not to be a green arrow now,
Well,
will
I remember that Monday night when Tottenham played Chelsea and I had 3 Tottenham and got like -1 out of three of them.
it?
So
Yeah. Yeah, it went okay. Daniel Munoz was probably the hero of the week for me. He got obviously a goal and a clean sheet. Returns for Bob Sanchez in goal, clean sheet for Chelsea. Senesi assist. Wasn't expecting that. He could have got a couple more actually, watching the highlights. Virgil got DEFCON. Whoopee. Um, Timber assist.
can I just say, all the people, why the people who did buy Van Dijk were very into why do people buy Van Dijk? And Van Dijk outscored many of our heroes this week. It is worth saying,
Yeah,
despite losing 3-0.
he did. Yeah. Saka DEFCON again. He's getting the DEFCONs done, isn't he?
Yeah, I said this week that there was a chance he wouldn't get another one this season. I'm not looked, but those 3 games he's picked him up in Fulham, Sunderland, and obviously yesterday, they'll all be massively high Arsenal percentage number games. So I don't know if
Yeah.
there's a little correlation to that in terms of recoveries and
Yeah. Fair play. Marino assist. You persuaded me to punt Marino when we were
is
speaking
that
about.
all he got was an assist?
Yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah, went with him in the end. Managed to make it happen. Mo Salah 2 points. Come on to him later. He was lively actually. Mo, not the worst culprit for Liverpool. And went with one up front who was Mateta, who got hooked on 59. Unfortunately,
Mm.
it was
Shout out FPL General.
yeah. He had a one-on-one that he made a bit of a mess of, I think. But yeah, 45, not terrible, but a green arrow, and that's pretty much all you can ask for on free hit, isn't it? How did you get on?
Yeah, FPL's not been too bad. I'm on 50 technically once Concer's in for Antoine Semenyo. Couple of kind of differential heroes for me this week. Enzo Fernandez late goal
Yeah,
was essentially an 8-point goal. So that really helped. Joachim Anderson's 10-pointer. When I invested in him a few weeks ago, it was very much about the home games that I had from him. I think he's had 19 points from the 3 games. So kind of quite delighted because I didn't really want to be investing that sort of money in defenders. It's worth saying part of that transfer was to put, I think, Ismail Assar in my team. And that's not done anything for me over the same period. Anderson, 10 points. And Bart Verbruggen penalty save
yeah,
after we literally discussed it on Friday's Clash of Correspondence about him never see it saving a penalty. And I did see, I think it's FPL Cal posted yesterday that in his career, his save percentage from penalties was about 4%. So it wasn't just something that was, I kind of said on Saturday night, oh, it's reverse jinx. But actually, there probably was something in that. And it's interesting, I had, very unusually for me, I had Soccer Saturday on. And when Brentford had the second penalty, I did have a feeling that he was going to save it. So he's every chance he's staying for me on the wild card this week because the rotation with him and Dubravka is really good. I don't expect a lot
yeah.
from it, but then I'm spending 8.4 on 2 goalkeepers, which allows money elsewhere. So Verbruggen, Anderson, Enzo Fernandez doing well for me. Jared Bowen, first ever forward. I'm going to frame this one. First ever forward to pick up a DEFCON. There was a number of forwards
Did
that were
he?
really, yeah, a number of forwards really close this way. I think Thiago was one away, and Rockador at Wolves, I think, was one away as well. Now, in Bowen's case, he's playing wide, so he was always liable to be the first one to pick it up. Jurian Timber assist. I mean, frankly, that could have been like a 20-pointer or so. I don't know. So I suppose Green Arrow with only one Arsenal player and no Saka. That's an escape, isn't it? Saka only getting the DEFCON yesterday from a 4-1 victory. Yeah, quite happy with that. I think it kind of real reason not to pull the plug on early, as in wildcard the week just gone. The biggest reason was actually holding Enzo Fernandez and João Pedro basically for that Burnley game. João Pedro's done nothing. But if you'd have offered me the 12 points from the 2 before the game started, I probably would have took it. So, and Anderson's return as well, really good because he probably won't stay for me. So, yeah, quite happy with that. Bruno Fernandes still to go tonight. Bumo can obviously do me a bit of damage, but yeah, the worst case is probably a greyish arrow, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's not bad at all. Like, yeah. Going on to some of the scores this week, I dare say there'll be a few people who sold Eze before this week, weren't there? So I've seen a few on there.
Someone asked me on my stream.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And I don't know if they did it or not. But I did say, look, you're asking the wrong guy if you think you're going to get advice about selling Arsenal players. I can't remember what but it was like Eze to Bumo or something.
I saw someone,
and I was thinking, there is a bit of logic in that. Like,
yeah, I saw someone -4 Eze out for Gakpo at the weekend, which has got to stink, that, hasn't it?
I mean, I wouldn't have done that, but I think it's one of them you could have looked at and went, yeah, opportunity with Gakpo, and I get why I would have gone there if I'd have been on free hit. You didn't go with him though, did you, on free hit?
No, I didn't.
I suppose you watch your team every week, so
yeah, he wasn't good again, Gakpo. But I can understand why people went there, because as soon as it became clear that Wirtz was out, it was obvious he was gonna start. What we didn't expect to see was Isak in the starting lineup, I suppose, and Ekatike left on the bench. But we'll get to Liverpool. Give me a bit of a break until we get there, please.
Okay, right. I'll give you a bit of a break. I think we'll crack on and get into the games quite quickly, because me and David probably just want to get this over and done with. Which easy pun do I have to pick for the title this week, David? You got any good ones? Because I'm
nothing springs to mind. No, there'll be. There was one on Match of the Day too last night, but unfortunately, very unhelpful. I can't remember what it was, but there's no shortage of easy.
Plenty of easy puns. So I was thinking about, I might save this for the Q&A, but I was thinking about Live and Tot Die.
Live and Tot Die? It's not the worst one.
Yeah. Well, right now, mate. So it's not looking good, Brev. We're on the same points. I think we're 10th and 11th. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, we're 11th. Yeah.
We are I was going to say we're the 2 most bang average teams in this league at the moment, but I think mine's probably a little bit worse than that.
At least you said before you started recording. At least you said you're not doing this with Clates. At least, are you? That would have been a tough 2 hours. I mean, for you.
As per content as well, I'm quite pleased I'm going to Paris this week, because there's no top from me on Patreon this week. Content this week, so 2 Clash of Correspondence coming up. Why am I going to Paris? To have a look around at some sites, I suppose. 2 Clash of Correspondence for you this week. Oh, I will get to speak about some Tottenham Hotspur versus Fulham with Ricky Saunders and Lewis James tomorrow. Also Aston Villa versus Wolves with Lee Jackson and Bradley Parker on Wednesday. Ask James Thursday once I get back from Paris. I think sort of 3 p.m. UK time. Me and you will be doing the Weekender on Friday. We'll kind of catch up on all the key bits from the European football in midweek and have a look forward to the weekend. If you want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Me and David are doing the Q&A today. We're also doing UCL Fantasy Match Day 5 preview tomorrow. Dumfries I've just seen this morning. David ruled out it being nearly everybody's team. That's going to force a transfer or two. Ham and Arse on Wednesday, where Clayton and Suj can laugh at my pain. Money in Football on Thursday, and our Game Week 13 preview on Friday, myself and Suj. And Suj is on free hit, I believe he's going to be on. He's on Wildcard. It's not gone great, but he still had a better weekend than me. Yeah. Let's talk footy then.
Yep, should we do the games then? So first up at lunchtime, Burnley-Chelsea. Never easy, is it? Long away trip, lunchtime after an international break, and Chelsea made as comfortable weather of it as they probably could have done, really, looking at the underlying stats. They were worthy winners by all accounts. Looks like you've already mentioned Enzo Fernandez doing the goods for you. In terms of moving forward, probably likely to have more Burnley than Chelsea, I guess, on wildcard. I've already got Dubravka, who will be perfectly fine to sit on the
The
bench. And
the only reason Dubravka wouldn't go in is if I genuinely deemed a rotation like for Bruggen and Kelleher. I can't see it's worthwhile because Dubravka,
yeah,
when Brighton have the awful fixtures like don't laugh at the back, Liverpool away, Arsenal away, Dubravka does have decent home games. So
yeah,
it almost seems ideal from that perspective. So Dubravka will go in and be in nearly
yeah.
everybody else's team. Probably no interest from the rest on these.
I'll probably have a
Um,
I might have a 3.9 defender, I think, from Burnley just to cheap out the bench. But
yeah, and
yeah,
as a consequence of Jacob coming out the Leeds team again yesterday, if you want a specific 3.9, it is back to Burnley. So probably is Stev now that he's at that level,
yeah,
probably over Twanzebe, I'd say. It might be a consequence for Stev having decent ownership that could become 3.8 further down the line. It was interesting. We did a piece on Money in Football last week about Axel Twanzebe and the fact he's suing Manchester United over a case where he thinks basically he got mistreated in terms of an injury. He's suing them for about £1 million. And he cannot play at 100% anymore, is kind of the reading between the lines on this. So if you want it that's available longer term, they're the same price. Estev is the safer way to go from that perspective.
I think so.
No,
Yeah,
Chelsea on wild card probably not going to make it in for me. Fixtures are not great. Um, Also, I think there's the consequences I've been saying week after week that I think they mass rotate at Leeds
yeah,
next midweek in the midweek fixtures in Gameweek 14. Remember they play Arsenal Sunday, Bournemouth away Saturday. That's a nightmare game if you've got another one 3 days earlier. So I think at Leeds you get quite a bit of rotation. So really difficult to think anything you invested in would play all the games over the next week or so. It's Champions League the following midweek. Everton, Newcastle, Villa, fixtures afterwards don't scream
yeah.
either. So, no, Enzo Fernandez, thank you very much. Did your job. You're going to get cut. João Pedro's definitely going to get cut. No doubt about that. Wesley Fofana would have been kind of like a mild consideration for me, but I think you've seen at the weekend, they've saved him for Barcelona and Arsenal. He's another one. I'd be
Yeah.
very surprised if he plays at Leeds. So I'm now paying 4.4 for a guy that I'm like never using. Again, might as well come down cheaper. Sanchez is not out the running for me,
Same. Yeah. If I've got money
but
to spare, maybe. Yeah,
yeah, it does feel wrong investing in a goalkeeper when they're about to play the best team in the league.
yeah. Agreed.
Um, I was quite intrigued with the opening of this game. And I think Chelsea struggled in sort of like the opening quarter of the game. And it actually felt like they were giving up possession quite a bit, like intentionally trying to draw Burnley on. I think there was a play to try and go direct, particularly in towards Neto over the top and try and opens up some space. And Burnley's team selection surprised. I don't know if this is now a trend because of what Maresca said, that teams are just not going with the norm when they're playing against Chelsea. Because everything we'd seen from Burnley in fixtures like this was like, right, Josh Laurent comes into the team, he's 5-4-1. But what this was more like Zian Fleming dropping in from a 9 position, dropping into the 10 position. And Chirona and Jaden Anthony stayed like really high in wide positions. And they had this midfield three, which was like quite aggressive. In a I can't even say James. I can't say that, can I?
Ugochukwu.
Luis Florentino, Josh Cullen, and I'll try again, Ugochukwu. And they started quite well, Burnley. They'd had more of the ball than I expected. Then I think Maresca tweaked it a little bit. And he started taking Cucurella at a higher line and just sat him in next to Andre Santos. And they began to build a little bit better. Then by consequence, though, they still score from a direct ball where Cucurella joins in. He makes the run over the top. Brilliant ball in from Gittins
Yeah, it's a great ball. That, yeah.
for Neto's goal.
Yeah.
Once they get in front, you feel comfortable with them. Huge game at the weekend with them playing Arsenal.
Second in the league.
You all know what I think about the title. What I would say about Chelsea, I'd sum up like this. I think City are probably the most likely team to finish second. But I'd say Chelsea got a better chance of winning the league than City. I just think Chelsea are the second hardest team to beat in this league, I think.
They got Cole Palmer to come back as well, haven't they? So
Yeah, and to
ammunition.
navigate that game at the weekend without having to use Casado is like good.
Yeah,
They
of
have
course.
to have those two away games at 12:30, Burnley and Forest after international breaks wasn't ideal. They've negotiated them, despite I would say not starting well in either. They easily, definitely could have been behind at Nottingham Forest, no doubt about that. but ended up winning both the games fairly routinely. You never thought Burnley were going to score in the second half.
Yeah.
Like they were pretty safe. Don't love the fixtures coming up. I think that's part why the position is good at the moment. In the sense, I think they're probably of the top teams. They've got the toughest run between now and the end of the year. But if they did win the game on Sunday, and they're as likely as anybody in this league to beat Arsenal at the moment, they might just smell a bit of momentum and a chance. But I don't trust them to be able to go 7, 8 games winning. Their problem is their consistency on breaking down teams like we saw with, again, when they played Sunderland a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago. That's where they're still a little bit off, and they lack quite a bit from an experience perspective. That said, I do think in the likes of Caicedo, Fernandes, they do have some good leaders in the team. Just a bit short, I think, at the top end, and also experience at the back. But yeah, they're a really tough team to beat.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they're doing very well, aren't they? They probably do look the best of the rest at the moment. But like you say, yeah, the fixtures are about to get a bit more tricky, aren't they? Yeah, they got Barcelona tomorrow night, haven't they? Chelsea, so that'll be
They
a
do,
good
and
watch.
they probably they don't have to win it, but probably feel like they need to win it to finish top 8. Wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Mm,
Because if they can keep out Barcelona's key attacking players, they'll have chances.
yeah,
But watch for Neto in behind Barcelona. Chelsea will look for it a lot, I think. And Garnacho. Wouldn't be surprised if part why Garnacho didn't play on Saturday.
yeah,
But yeah, probably no Chelsea for me, timing wise, at the moment. Sanchez would be the most likely. So it's the keepers from both, basically,
yeah.
for me.
Agree.
Otherwise, I know at the moment.
Okay. Let's talk about Bournemouth 2, West Ham 2. Fun game, this. Very, very wild conditions at the Vitality, it looked like. The XG, have you seen the XG for this one? It's,
Well, it more just break it down to Bournemouth's second half XG. You could,
yeah, the
yeah.
XG was pretty level at half time. Obviously, West Ham went in 2-0 up. Two lovely goals from Callum Wilson, the chest control for the
You
first
see,
one.
these talk about getting him in the England squad.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I mean, Petrovic should
Sorry,
save that
guys.
first one, shouldn't
Like
he?
Callum Wilson, nothing against him. It's like any English player that starts scoring goals. It's like we've got a major problem. Who's going to like cover for Harry Kane? I think the best covers for Harry Kane lie within the squad. Personally, Bellingham, Foden, Palmer's. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so, yeah. 10 saves and an assist for Alphonse Areola. So he was kept very busy. Yeah, 28 shots to 5 in Bournemouth's favour, 4 big chances. System change for West Ham at this one, wasn't it? They went to a back
backpack.
three and played Igor. Yeah, looked a fun game. I noticed that most of the chat, wasn't it, before the game week started, it was will Semenyo play or won't he? And he wasn't involved in the end. So it meant Krupi and Evan Nilsson both played, and Krupi had his chances, didn't he? He would be an interesting one if
I was surprised that Krupi played.
yeah,
Actually, I was.
he had a couple of good chances. Probably not going to go with him because it is just a little bit up in the air, isn't it? I think Thiago's a clear better choice, or maybe a Danny Welbeck if you want to go there. But yeah, fun game. Kilman gave away a penalty. I think he was maybe a bit lucky to stay on the pitch as well.
It's like his worst decision of the weekend.
It's incredible that he got away with that. Really.
Yeah, no, that's the worst. A little bit like the Nathan Collins one against Manchester United. I'm having real difficulty trying to explain how that's not a red card.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's completely deliberate as well. It's not like he slid, and
Yeah.
if the slid and Evan Nilsson hit the shot and okay, it's hit his hand. Right?
Yeah.
He's literally stopped the ball intentionally with his hand as the player is 6 yards from goal dead centre.
Yeah.
You
He's
know,
got to go there.
take that
Hasn't
one with was it Ismail Assar? Who was it the other week? It was Senesi, wasn't it, in the Palace Bournemouth game a few weeks ago? He's outside the box. The ball is heading away from goal. It's borderline. I didn't understand this. Have you seen Evan Nilsson's reaction when it happens as well?
don't think don't recall.
Almost sums it up. When you watch it back, watch Evan Nilsson's reaction. It's really strange. He puts his hand on his head.
Yeah.
And he stays like that in that position for a while, like he's really disappointed, almost like he's missed the big chance. Maybe he was looking at this going, well, that should be my goal, and I'm not going to take the penalty.
He
And
would have been a penalty. Oh, Tavernier took the pen, didn't he? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He could be an interesting one. He's a fairly
he's
cheap.
been ticking over quite nicely, actually, Marcus Tavernier. His
Yeah.
minutes have been really good this season. He's stayed fit. That's a positive for him. He's so often spent time not being able to stay fit. And then when he has, he's been in and out the team. I think coming into the season, we couldn't be sure that he'd have favouritism in that position. Justin Kluivert's not played anywhere near as much, and yet
No.
he obviously would have had he been available at the weekend. He's on a few set plays. I suppose he's second in line for pens now. Data's pretty good. 4 attacking returns. That's a slight overperformance in terms of goals so far. And obviously, the data now looks better having taken a penalty. Pretty much anyone who's taken a penalty this season actually looks all right on data in comparison to others. It's worth remembering. That's why people will look at non-penalty XG. So Semenyo will go back on him, you would presume.
Yeah.
Although he did miss at Villa.
Mm. He absolutely leathered that
Well,
penalty.
yeah, he did.
Didn't he?
He did take it like, yeah, I'm not going to piss about with this.
Yeah.
And yeah, did they miss some chances? My goodness.
Yeah.
I
I've
loved Nuno's reaction. Have you seen Nuno's interview afterwards?
yeah.
It wasn't till I saw the interview I realised he was like, it's really. He was smiling his head off, and he knew that they'd stolen one basically. Of course, his team got slapped 5-0 there last year. Forest.
Forest, yeah.
They got, and Forest were in great form. Bournemouth were in a really good moment as well. They got absolutely slapped there, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, and I thought about that in consequence afterwards and went, didn't see that. And that's probably part why he's changed the system as well. But yeah, they came under some wild pressure in that second half. Admittedly, there's a game state element to it. West Ham winning for the majority of the game. But yeah, Bournemouth had enough XG in the second half to near enough account for 3 games, basically.
He'll be very happy to take the point and run there, Nuno, I think, won't he?
Absolutely. And it is a great result for West Ham.
Yeah.
Most teams will leave there, particularly under conditions like that, and be pretty happy with that result.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm kind of wobbling a bit on Petrovic on Wildcard now. I'm not going to lie. Like that was poor on the first Wilson goal. He's just got to save that, haven't you? But
yes.
if I'm going to go cheap on a goalkeeper on Wildcard, it is probably Petrovic, Verbruggen, Kelleher, isn't it? None of them.
Those are your choices, but then it's why you look at Sanchez, because it's only 0.3 more for Sanchez
Chelsea
over Petrovic.
Chelsea had better fixtures. You'd probably try and find the extra 0.3, wouldn't you? But it's I don't know.
You haven't been on Semenyo at all, have you?
No.
So we think, obviously, it was kind of a lot of weird news last week. He proposed to his girl, didn't he? He'd had an ankle knock apparently prior to the Villa game that he aggravated in the Ghana game. And then the word on Friday, I think most people read between the lines and went, I think he'll play. Then he's not in the team. The word afterwards is, actually, he was sick. So they couldn't even assess the ankle problem. So with respect to Bournemouth, like you're not going to get the information that you'd probably get on a City or an Arsenal or whatever. True, yeah. So you probably are just sitting here waiting now till Friday. And for someone like me who's up 0.6 on him, there's a decision to be made. And I don't think these fixtures are great, you know.
Mm.
If I look across the next 9, it's like Sunderland away this week, it's okay, but that's a tougher fixture. If people still got that as a green, they probably shouldn't. Everton at home, space difficult, I'd think. Chelsea at home, United away. Then sure, Burnley, Brentford, I think are 2 good games. But then following that, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home.
Mm. Yeah, it's not great, is it?
You probably almost definitely take him on, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What would have been the ultimate chef's kiss would have been me having not had him all season and then put him in on free hit when he doesn't play at the weekend, wouldn't it? I managed to dodge that bullet, luckily. I'm not as nervous about going without him now. But I mean, I've obviously lost out between the start of the season and now. I also sold Morgan Rogers a few weeks ago, and he's doing bits now, isn't he? So yeah,
I don't think you were wrong to do that, mate.
Do follow me for more exclusive FPL advice like that. That's why I'm here. Make everybody else feel better if nobody else. Fun game. Brighton 2, Brentford 1.
Just before you do, Senesi?
He's in the mix. Yeah, I don't really want to do Petrovic and Senesi, so I think if I don't go Petrovic, in a weird way, that makes it more likely to go with Senesi. There's a few. He's at a price point where he's competing with like Palace defenders and maybe Nico O'Reilly of Man City.
For me, if it's 5, I prefer Lacroix.
Yeah,
at this stage, if I go both, it's both, but I think like also Nico O'Reilly, timing wise, at that value obviously really appeals now as well. So I think Senesi, who I've not owned, might be the same as how you're looking at Semenyo. Semenyo, I've got a big decision to make. Just a shout out for Enes Unal as well. Obviously coming back from an ACL injury, scored in the
Yeah,
same fixture. If it was last year or the year before, scored a brilliant free kick in the same fixture to equalise that game as well.
yeah,
Nice to see him come back and score a goal. There is an impact on Krupi from that perspective that Unal might jump back ahead of him in terms of second in line. I don't think we should expect Krupi to play that position he played at the weekend, almost right alongside Evan Nilsson too much. Might have even been a consequence of the way West Ham played that they pushed him higher. Semenyo will obviously come back in the team if he's fit. West Ham, no interest whatsoever at the moment. Fixtures rough. Obviously doing much better under Nuno, but yeah, I can't believe that I held Jared Bowen for these 3 games. They scored 8 goals and he hasn't had nothing.
yeah.
Bar a DEFCON, the first ever DEFCON. Yeah, definitely going. No
I don't
interest in
know.
West Ham.
Their next game,
Potts might come through
Pots,
with me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Their next game looks all right. West Ham. Maybe think about them.
This is what we should be doing on free hit, David, yeah?
Yeah, through West Ham.
Treble
Yeah,
West Ham.
yeah.
The irony is, you think about Bowen versus Kirkes or Robertson, he could have some joy, but I'm not keeping him.
Yeah,
I can't keep him.
I think that's the right thing to do. Yeah, move him on.
No, I know it is.
Yeah. Brighton 2, Brentford 1. Taylor 2 penalties for Igor Thiago, wasn't it? It was he scored one and missed one right at the end to earn him a point.
Both penalties are the same, by the way. And it's like, oh, the first one's a great pen, the second one's a terrible pen. They're the same pens. There's possibly a case to say that because he stutters, he should change, but I think his stutter is just his style. Rather than, like a Tony or Bumo, same used to play for that team, used to wait and look at the keeper. I don't think he's like that, Thiago. I think it's just his style of how he takes them. If it's not, then yeah, he probably should be reversing it the other way because Verbruggen does go really early and gamble. So yeah, Thiago's great option. He's going to be an awkward one for me in the sense he's going to gain a bit of traction and value this week. You're walking into a good fixture against Burnley. Obviously want him in, but I'm tempted to dip off him and then back again in 16. Go like Voltemade, 14, 15. I got that sort of move, which I wouldn't normally have in plan, but with the 3 transfers in 16, I want to look at little things like this.
Yeah.
But if I get 0.2 up off him this week, and there's every chance I will, even if the second bit is after deadline, then kind of makes it awkward. I think just leave it. I mean, it's fine to play against Tottenham, obviously, in 15. Playing against Arsenal feels ugly, 14. So I'm going to give that a bit of thought.
On Wildcard, trying to nick all his values, good stuff, isn't it? Just trying to get in a position to maybe get a 0.1.
Well, I'd stick bloody Eze in last night, didn't I? Because he could be 0.2 up this week, couldn't he? So,
exactly the same, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't waiting up till 1:30, check the price changes, but it was enough, obviously, movement going in for him. I thought, right, well, we better put him in while we're playing this game at the moment. There were 4 Brentford players, well, 5 under consideration for me. Goalkeeper Kelleher's not out the running, but I don't think so. Vandenberg is interesting. He's 4.5. The DEFCONs, the only thing I noticed of him, I had a look at his DEFCONs specifically last night, and the games he picked them up in are quite interesting. So Forest away, Villa away, Sunderland away, Liverpool at home, Palace away, Brighton away. So it's only been away games with the exception of Liverpool at home. So you ain't picking him up in the games where I'd want to use him. Now, also, we have to give a kind of mixture to that in the sense that they haven't had an easy home game on paper yet. So all their games of home have been against like expected top 8 sides, basically. So there isn't anything we've got on to know what they might be for these 2 home games with Burnley, Leeds. That's what like really appeals. Vandenberg looks much better if you pair it with, say, Van Heck. The rotation long-term Brighton Brentford is really good. And if you looked at him and went, well, I'll play one every week, the rotation's not too bad. But at that point, I just think, should I just go Lacroix and Twanzebe and just like play Lacroix every week? That's kind of how it feels at the moment. Sade's under consideration for me. I think there's every chance Dango Utara is going to go in.
You think so? All right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, numbers wise, it's better than Sade. It's a million or so cheaper.
Yeah.
I recognise that if they want to switch to a back five, he is the most likely to come out the team, such as Arsenal away next midweek. Although, as you saw yesterday, if you're going to go there and play a back five, at least get your press right, kids. But if they go that way, Utara doesn't play. Well, I'm going to play Utara at Arsenal anyway. I want to play Otara for the other games. And as Tom said to us on COTC last week, he said he thinks that primarily now it will be a back four in the main. And if he's going to get enough minutes, he's worth the saving over Sade, I think. He's
Shada's
got
on
more,
four yellows,
he's got
isn't
more
he?
points off less minutes.
Yeah. Shada's on four yellows, but I guess you can just move off him if he gets that fifth. If you really want him with those transfers that we're going to get, you could just wait.
It's not impossible
Yeah.
that I go Tara, Sade, and Tiago. Tiago's like probably a shoe-in. And I bin one for 14 and hired the other two for 14.
So you've gone cold on Danny Welbeck, have you? Maybe.
He's in there at the moment.
Mm. Another goal for him.
I love that goal, by the way.
Yeah.
It was the second best goal scored at the weekend. If anyone wants to, have a guess for the best one.
Yeah, Richarlison. Yeah.
Trust me, there was no one more in shock than me. Oh,
Maybe Richarlison.
I was going to say the 2,999 other people that were with me in the Emirates, but actually there was about 30% of them had already gone. That goal is try it down the park, mate. I tell you, Richarlison's goal was easier than Welbeck's. That finish on your wrong foot on the half foot volley to connect at the right time. That's a special little finish, actually.
Yeah, really good.
He's bang on it. Next fixtures are okay. There is a case to even Thiago into Welbeck for a couple of games. So Thiago, Burnley at home, Welbeck, Villa, West Ham at home, back to Thiago. I very much felt going into this weekend it was Welbeck over Thiago in terms of a timing perspective. That feels like it's now Thiago at this time. 14 will feel like Welbeck, 16 will feel like Thiago. There is obviously the case to go with both. That is a possibility for me, definitely. I don't mind the spacing that they've got coming up. I think there's a little bit of concern, particularly around the Villa home game next midweek, just in the sense it's a 3-day turnaround. West Ham aren't, despite the chances given up at Bournemouth, aren't as easy to play against as they were prior to Nuno. It's not as attractive as it was. Yeah, Welbeck's on radar. So too's Minter. The problem I've got with Minter is he scored once this season, which was a goal against Ghetto. And I saw it right in front of my face. And he's walked around the goalkeeper. So the XG on it is like a penalty.
Yeah.
Okay. So other than that, his XG from the rest of the season is about 1.5, which isn't great when he started every game. He's also got 7 assists. 7 assists from an XA of 2. And it feels like he keeps getting assists from block shots.
Yeah. Well, they all count. Fixtures are decent, aren't they? He's not... I am thinking about Minter, yeah. If I don't go Welbeck, I'm not against having some Brighton in midfield. I was saying to you before we started, I think the unlocking the wild card, the trickiest bit of it is midfield, I think, isn't it? I feel like I know who I want up front. Quite a few candidates for defenders. Goalkeepers are what they are, but I think in midfield that's going to take quite a bit of working out from week to week before we get these 5 transfers. And there are people in this game like Minter and Sharda who are part of the conversation. I think Palace as well when we come onto them, City when we get onto them as well. It's working out who you put in now and who you're going to punt on when you get to game week 15. So yeah, got the week to think about that. But there are a number of candidates, but none of them are absolutely screaming out at this moment in time, I don't think.
No. Something like Minter might hold for even Utara in 16. One of the things I'm considering is even both. It sounds like a too expensive way to rotate, But if I end up with enough players in and around that value, and I'm going set almost like Bumo is maybe like my second most expensive player, knowing that when he goes, that's probably maybe coming down to Cunha, maybe. Like I could afford over this period to have an Utaru or Minta as eighth attacker and rotate them.
Yeah.
Feels too much, but then I can almost take a view further down the line. Right, something else has developed here. Dewsbury Hall, maybe when Everton's fixtures come round, when Dyer disappears to AFCON, that'll open up some money, for example. So yeah, Minter, Welbeck, Van Heck's not out the running,
Hmm.
but I don't think I go Van Hex. I think Verbruggen is going to go in.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has finally done some bits for me, but it's only 667.
Yeah. That's what all the
But
kids are saying
they
these
are
days, aren't
improving that ultimately from the last three games. The only goal they've conceded is a penalty, and they do have a few more good games coming up. So
they? Yeah.
yeah, I want my loss of value back on him. I think as well, and I'm not gonna get it back this week. So yeah, Verbruggen, I think Verbruggen, Dubravka, I think will be my keepers.
It is a
Have a
nice
listen. Have a
rotation.
listen back to Clash of Correspondence last week. My unusual one to recommend, but obviously we knew Brighton Brentford were going to be really interesting for people. If you're on free hit this week, I think you go free Brentford, don't you?
On three hit. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Thiago's a shoe in.
Yeah.
What other two?
Sharda and maybe a defensive, I think. Um, Utara, I haven't given much thought to, in fairness, but I do like Kevin Sharda. Um, maybe, I don't know, Collins or someone like that. It's
Well,
take your pick, I suppose.
Vandenberg's outperforming Collins, so
Yeah, and he's
yeah,
cheaper, I guess, isn't he? Yeah,
yeah,
I would certainly go three Brentford if I was on free hit this week.
I think so. Yep. I
Uh,
probably I probably wouldn't go any Brighton at Forest. That's not a segue.
no. Fulham 1, Sunderland nil. Felt like a big game for Fulham, this, didn't it? And they've delivered another one
Yeah,
win. And they were worthy winners looking at the underlying data. Sunderland created very little. Fulham, several chances. Just looking at Raul Jimenez's data, 6 shots for him.
he's
Uh,
on radar for me.
Looked on it. Also, good underlying data for Kevin and Harry Wilson. Chukwueze gets the assist. He came on as a substitute. He was signed towards the end of the window. But looking ahead at their fixtures, they both of them have got it slightly tough, haven't they? In the run up to Christmas, it's Fulham. Maybe if you were going to go there, maybe this week was the time. You got your points out of Joachim Anderson, didn't you? So you'll be pleased with that. But yeah, Jimenez is at a nice price point, isn't he? If you want to sort of clear number one striker for a team, but I don't think I'll be going there myself.
I'm not sure he is because there's not enough between Thiago and Jimenez to justify, and with Welbeck at the moment.
Yeah,
Excuse me, there's not enough to justify Jimenez, but kind of really in my thinking now because of Muniz injury. Those two have been a bit of a headache to invest in because it's like, oh, one will be in for the other, or at least Nick's 25 minutes off the other one. We know that Marco Silva's teams really function and need a number nine. I've stressed that a lot recently. And Jimenez is going to have to take the workload of this for a significant chunk. And just by virtue of being a potential talisman all of a sudden now, I don't mind that. I think it's probably one I maybe look back on in 16. I can see a scenario where if teams have got Haaland, Welbeck, and Thiago, and that won't be many at the moment because I know most have got Mateta. But if someone sets up that way specifically, we spoke about Welbeck to Thiago maybe being a move in 16. Well, if you've already got Thiago there as well, which some might end up with that this week, then Welbeck to Jimenez in 16
mm.
might look quite interesting just for a few games, see how you feel about it, and then dip back off. They've got a nice little run 16 to 18. And in some of the tougher games they have afterwards, like Liverpool, Chelsea, they are at Craven Cottage. So yeah, Jimenez, I think is worth keeping a real close eye on in the near future by virtue of his expected minutes will go back up, and just by virtue of his position, he'll be the most likely player to score. I mean, he's taken the goal really well at the weekend. It's a
Yeah,
super cross from Chukwueze. Really, really good cross. Makes it so difficult to defend, particularly on a wet pitch like that. And Jimenez in and around the box is good,
yeah,
really good. So Yeah, Raul Jimenez isn't out the question. I'm wildcarding. They're playing my team this weekend. Romero's suspended.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah,
There'll be worse people to get than Raul Jimenez. It's probably not one for free hitters, but yeah, I think he should. Most people seem really set on this. Thiago Mateta, maybe then it's Welbeck, obviously with Haaland. Keep an eye on Jimenez is what I'd say. Midfielders, nothing really of interest. Josh King might still come through with me. I still think it's a bit more exciting than Potts
yeah, it is. Yeah,
personally, but I also know that his place in the team is a little bit more under risk. There would be no way of knowing if he plays at Tottenham at the moment because Sasa Lukic will definitely come back in the team, I would think, from suspension. Mind you, the way my team backs off and doesn't press, as shown yesterday, maybe he could play with King and Iwobi as like wide eights. Defensively, Anderson's the only one to
yeah,
look at. And he's perfectly reasonable. He's very consistent alongside the 4.5s. The immediate fixtures don't look brilliant, but once you get beyond those immediate fixtures, it's good. I mean, like I said, 16 to 18, probably Brentford, Fulham, top two on my ticker.
Sunderland.
So, no,
No,
no. I think there was quite a bit of frustration from our Sunderland guys on Patreon about the fact that they kind of stuck with this back five at the weekend. The headline from the fantasy perspective is that Alderete didn't play. I think that might change again, but I also think for those on Alderete, if you've got a wild card left, you may end up looking somewhere else, and I think that place to look might be Burnley. I do think it will come back in the team, but you're probably not going to use it in too many of the games coming up. The fixtures are so shy
yeah, they're rough,
for
aren't
a
they?
while.
Yeah.
Basically, bar playing Leeds in game week 18, the fixtures are shocking. So, yep, no interest in Sunderland for me at the moment. Xhaka Defcon seems like it's, I don't want to say dried up, but calmed down a little bit. I think you'd have expected him to get it in a game like this. He's now 1 in 4 for Defcons.
He's on
Xhaka.
four yellows as well, Jacka.
He's
So
on 4 yellows.
yeah,
Remind me to do yellows before we do questions. There are a
yeah,
number of players walking a tightrope here.
yeah.
He's one. Obviously, his mate Sadiq is as well. Yeah, I felt the Sunderland guys weren't too happy with the system deployed at the weekend and felt the game was there for the taking. But I also get it. It's like because this run of is so bad fixture wise, like continue to play in this system. I get it. It was a bigger game for Fulham. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised that they ended up winning it. Yeah, no Sunderland for me. If there was, it would be Michele probably. But no, if I'm picking an enabler one at the moment, fifth defender, I'm going Burnley.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Liverpool nil, Nottingham Forest 3. Let's get this over and done with. Uh, I think we should start with Forest because we could quite easily.
Oh, you are proper Planet FPL.
Yeah, I'm happy not to talk about Liverpool at all. Let's just. No, in fairness, we should. It would be easy to forget about Forest because obviously there's a lot of chat about Liverpool at the moment. But full credit to him, they were very worthy winners by the end. I thought, and they could be back on radar, couldn't they, Forest? I think low key they've got a reasonable run coming up. And one thing you have to say about Deitch is he gets them well organised at the back, doesn't he? So like someone like a Savona who scored on Saturday, I think he's only 4.5, isn't he? He
Left back to right back away at Anfield.
does get
I
forward.
know it was right at the start of the half, but fair game.
Yeah, lovely finish from Murillo for the first goal. Yeah, great result for Forest, and yeah, no complaints. They deserved the win. Liverpool were all right, until as long as it was 0-0, Liverpool.
Is this what we've hit, David? All right.
Yeah, and a better team until Forest scored, which is a recurring theme. Because unfortunately, when a bit of adversity hits us, we don't handle it at all well. Heads drop very, very quickly, and it feels like if we get the first goal in games, we're usually okay. Like you back us to win. If we concede that first goal, then you really do worry for us, and just felt almost inevitable that we just didn't have the answers as soon as Forest did score. It's a little bit questionable. The first goal with Ndoye in front of Alisson, a little bit similar to the Robertson goal at the Etihad. But having said that, the Igor Jesus one later on probably evens it out. I thought that was extremely harsh to not give that one. Yeah, honestly, it's a mess. It's a mess, and kind of don't want to go into them too hard because you see something like Robertson's interview after the game on Tuesday. Normally after you lose 3-0 at home, you sort of want to tear into these players and the manager. Some people are still doing that. It's up to them. But I find it very hard to be really going after them at the moment. I just think mentally we're not in a great spot. And unfortunately, the games are going to come thick and fast. We've got to find a way of dealing with it. Help if we get the first goal in some games and just build up a little bit of confidence. But we're, it's really not good. It's really not good at the moment.
I think you'll agree with this because you've seen this comment posted over the weekend. I know you already agreed with it, but it feels like once something goes wrong is when the problems are beginning, i.e. you got the first goal against Villa.
Yeah.
Okay, something to build on. And that easily on that day, by the way, could have gone the other way around. Just like at the weekend, you very easily could have got the first goal. I mean, Anderson off the line from McAllister and stuff. Different game. You probably win. Crowd settled, fans on side, all those things. But it does feel like it's, and we've seen this with teams in the past. Once something goes wrong, it's unraveling.
Yeah.
Panic setting in. Leaders not stepping up, I don't think.
No, I agree. I agree with that. We've also got, Ebu Konate this season he's been absolutely terrible. Yet again, just horrendous on Saturday. He's got to play at the moment, unfortunately. There's no, and that's on us in terms of.
You could bring Gomez in for a game, but Slot's made it clear it's not like I'm going to play Gomez for the next 3 league games. Like, it's not happening, is it?
There was chat about could he have played at right back after Bradley was ruled out, but it sounds like I think Slot said Gomez wasn't quite ready enough to start. So Konate's got to play at the moment, but he's borderline unselectable at the moment. The corner he gives away for the first goal, I don't know what he's doing. But he's someone who's been there throughout all this Jota stuff as well. So maybe he's struggling, but we can't really take him out the firing line. Played Isak up front. Slot made a comment that he's basically been kind of, didn't say in so many words, but it's almost like Isak's got to play to get up to speed. So he played. I think he touched the ball 15 times, barely had a sniff. So he's just not ready, and he's only going to get up to speed by playing. Harshan Ekatike, so he comes on after 55 for Konate. Means we've got to move Gravenberch back to centre back. Yeah, it's just all a mess. I mean, one thing you can't accuse Slot of doing is not trying to address things in games, but he's arguably trying too much at times. Like it's all a bit chaotic when things start to unravel. And he's throwing a lot of shit at the wall, basically.
You'd be better off starting with chaos, particularly in home games.
Well, I mean, up until Saturday, home games have been all right, haven't they? It's been the away form that was one thing we were saying in the lead up to this was that we have been all right at home. It's been the away games where maybe he needs to try something different. But when something like Saturday happened, I mean, by the end, the second half display is absolutely terrible. Like Forest could have.
I can't remember the last time I saw a game finishing at Anfield and it was empty seats.
They could have scored 5 or 6. Could have scored 5 or 6. Yeah, and it wasn't like a massively toxic atmosphere. I don't think it was. Just everyone's a bit sad about how things are going at the moment. It's for those, and there are many who really hate Liverpool. It's great times for them at the moment.
The better you are, the more you're hated as well, right? So
yeah, it's
like everyone will be hating Arsenal this time last year. Like everyone's been hating City for a number of years, and now you've had some success. Hate you. If United did well, it'll come back for them, etc. As well. The better you are, the more hate you're going to get from the outside.
Yeah, we've just got to try and somehow get out of this. But it's the answers, the solutions are not obvious at the moment. There's just so many areas of pitch that are just not.
He's
working.
one taking Mo out the team, mate.
He was all right on. I mean, he's going to come out the team anyway. He's going to AFCON in a couple of weeks, so that is going to happen. He was bright first half an hour. Never hid. Always wants the ball. Kept going. He was not the problem on Saturday. But maybe it is something to look at in certain
But
away games at
the,
least.
the structure is always, and we balance this out a lot with Mo, and we say, look, it's not that he's not working hard. The setup is always to try and get the best out of him when you win the ball back, to put him in a position where he can be at his most dangerous. But it is now more often than not becoming a hindrance. You almost need him to be doing well to make that structure work.
Yeah.
Like that side of the pitch, he's getting mullered on occasion, mate.
Yeah.
And
I,
that's tactical as much as anything.
I think I think certainly in away games, it might be something Slot needs to look at. Look at him as maybe a sort of a finisher, bring him on for the last half an hour of games, try and keep things tight and bring him on for the last half an hour of games. But I must say, Salah was fine on Saturday. Yeah, I just think teams are like smelling that they've got a real chance against us at the moment. I dare say Deitch would have said, just stay in the game as long as you can. And if you get your noses in front, there's a result here for us. Like they played that way. Yeah, I mean, fair play to Forest. They've done us again. That's two seasons in a row that they've won. Basically, I think it just comes down to first goals in games at the moment. If we get the first one, we're usually okay, but we're not reacting well at all to any sort of adversity. And 11th in the table, we've won 6, lost 6. It's a tough scene at the moment. We just don't know what you're going to get from game to game. So
He's won 6, lost 6, but it's lost 6 in 7.
Yeah, I know.
Remarkable statistic of over the last 7, you've lost 6. Villa have won 6. The only game you won and they lost was when you played each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is now as much psychological
Yeah.
as anything for Liverpool. I don't like the back to basics kind of chat, but I do wonder even little things like even going 4-4-2, let Isak and Ekateke play together and play like Szoboszlai over the right, just to ease it in. But you talk about the idea of taking Mo out the team. I don't think it's something that's going to happen. What would you say to Mo Salah owners in FPL? Because it's like my message in the build up to this was surely you haven't held to this point and now selling.
I think you have to see it through till AFCON now. I think
it feels that way, yeah.
Yeah. He was, all I can say is he was okay on Saturday. He was a threat. I went with Mo Salah as captain on my free hit, and I felt vindicated by doing it. He was lively, he was buzzing around the box, could have scored, could have got some assists, ultimately didn't. Luckily, Erling Haaland didn't punish me too much in the City game, but he certainly could have done. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't feel right if you've still got Salah at this point to sell him before West Ham and Sunderland. Not that those games are gimmies at the moment, and it feels like we're capable of losing any game at the moment, but he is still Mo Salah at the end of the day. He's on pens, maybe.
But you've only had one
pen. Yeah. I'd still keep him. If I had him, I'd still keep him. That's all I can say, really. In terms of rest of Liverpool, I mean, you and I sat here on Wildcard at the moment. Feels like we should be talking about which 3 we want with the fixtures that we've got. Van Dijk, and I don't even feel great about Van Dijk at the moment when we're conceding so many goals.
Yeah, I'm going Van Dijk. I'll happily commit to that now.
I think I'll have him, yeah. But attacking wise, I just can't see me doing anything. Even if Wirtz is ruled out for a prolonged period, I don't really want Cody Gakpo in my fantasy team at the moment. He's struggling himself. Mad as it is to say, given where Liverpool's fixtures run is starting, I think it'll be Van Dijk and nothing else, being totally honest.
Salah's non-penalty XG is worse than Gakpo's.
I can believe that, yeah.
I think his XA is worse than Gakpo's as well. I want to say. I'll check that.
Yeah. Oh, Gakpo, he's fond of a shot.
Yeah, that's right.
But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Do you go Mo on free hit?
You certainly pick Haaland on free hit, wouldn't you? Which is a large chunk of cash. You could make it work because maybe Chelsea and Arsenal players pretty much off the table, I guess, wouldn't you, on free
And
hit?
probably United at Palace as well. Like you Boumos Fernandes, you probably don't go either.
So you might be able to.
And
You might be
probably
able to make it
you
work.
maybe go against the likes of Mateta as well.
Mm. Yeah, you could maybe if you're going like three Brentford and a couple of you might have Rodgers maybe for Villa. Um,
Oh, Morgan Rogers will be on every free hit this week.
he should be for sure. Yeah,
He will be. I'm fairly certain of that.
yeah, yeah. You could maybe make it work. Haaland and Salah on free hit with Chelsea and Arsenal and United a little bit off the table. But yeah, my free hit's done.
So how many Liverpool? You just Van Dijk? Do you think wildcard?
I'd be
I think
surprised
the
if
same.
I'd be surprised if I have another one.
I tried to think what I would do if Haaland got injured in midweek. My
I mean,
first thought wouldn't be Salah. It'd be Marmoush.
yeah, another City. Yeah.
Just now I'm going Marmoush, Bumo, Fernandez. I'm like more of them. Okay, now I can go Saka or probably
When,
more that.
when I
Don't think
got
I go
word
Salah.
when I got word that Isak was starting on Saturday, part of me did think he would have been a tasty one on free hit if it had
Is
known. But
is there a consequence of anything here in midweek that could happen that would make us have confidence in Isak Ekiteke? I guess one is an injury, but probably more so to Isak at the moment because who wants to justify the Isak money? You're going to find it very difficult to go Haaland, Salah, and Isak if you're on free hit.
oh yeah, definitely yeah, yeah. You would be relying on an Isak injury, I think, to give you more confidence that Ekatike would be the clear choice at 9. I think Isak, you would only possibly be picking him on his Newcastle career at the moment because he's done absolutely nothing for Liverpool. Yeah,
You're
and
right that he needs games to work his way in.
yeah,
That makes Ekiteke a bad asset at this moment as well. If Isak was out for 6 weeks, I'm going to look at Ekiteke strongly.
hmm
Gakpo, I agree with you. Probably no.
yeah. Don't think so. I
Salah, no.
think it's just Van Dijk. Yeah,
Is that justifiable?
just what having Van Dijk.
Yeah, I mean, is it Van Dijk because we want some skin on Liverpool because these brilliant fixtures? Not like you can't go Timber or a different Arsenal player, Munoz, Lacroix, other players, O'Reilly.
I don't think he's a lock, is he? Yeah, how could he be if given how poor we are at the moment? It's just because it feels like you just said, we need a bit of skin in the game for Liverpool. Um, Not feeling great about having it. I mean, Arsenal. Put it this way: I've got Timber and Van Dijk. Even with Gabriel out, I would much rather have Timber with Arsenal's poorer fixtures on paper than Van Dijk. I think at the moment.
But coming into this period, you know exactly what you get from Van Dijk. 90
Do
minutes
you?
every game.
Yeah, you did still pick
And
up DefCon on
yeah,
Saturday, so most of the time, you're going to get, you might get 3 or 4 points even if we
and there
do.
will, because teams will be forced to go in direct quite a lot against Liverpool, he's still going to win aerials on the halfway line so much. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think Van Dijk will go in for me. Forest, Morgan Gibbs White is having a little run here. He's non-penalty XG, by the way. He's only, according to FP Ref, is only 0.2 less than Mo Salah now this season. And actually, I was just having a look at his data over these 3 games that he's scored in. His XG over these last 3 games ain't much different to Minter's across all the rest of the games if you take Minter's goal against Tottenham out. So he's on a little bit of a run here, Morgan Gibbs White. 26 points across the last 3 game weeks. Essentially correlates with Sean Dyche taking the
Yeah.
job. Are we overlooking this? The
Yeah,
fixtures aren't
potentially.
bad. I remodeled my FDR during the break, and one of the teams that come out much better as a consequence are Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Yeah. I'll look a little bit closer. I'll be very honest. Like Forest have been, certainly when Ange was there, wasn't it? They were just a complete no-go, weren't they? But I would have to look at a little bit closer at Forest's fixture run and the prices that they're at. Gibbs White is, as I said before, midfield spots are up for grabs, I think, on Wildcard, and Gibbs White might be not off the table. I don't think he's had a clear uptick in form, hasn't he, since Dyche took over? I think he'd be the one from an attacking point of view. I don't think like Igor Jesus or Ndoye or someone like that.
No,
don't think so.
no, it's Gibbs White or on Anderson save,
Yeah,
which is
defensive.
perfectly viable.
Someone like a Savannah at 4.5. You never know, but yeah, fair play to Forest.
I
Yeah,
just
worthy winners.
Olorena was, I don't know, I've not seen an update, but the original prognosis on Olorena was probably going to be mid-December. You might be walking into something that becomes an issue. I don't think you want to piss about with
Yeah,
that as a longer term one. If Aina's out longer, and who knows, listen, Savannah's doing quite well in that position at the moment. But I probably wouldn't chase that one. I think, unfortunately, Murillo, Milenkovic is still a bit too expensive for what I'd want personally. Gibbs White, I think he's probably overpriced
what
personally.
price? What price is he?
It's 7-3, I think I want to say, which has
Right.
obviously dipped a bit since pre-season.
Yeah,
But it's particularly if you're going short term, the price is a little bit more irrelevant, and we're all, I guess, being forced into looking at a few players a little bit more short term. And I think for those like me and you on Wildcard, you're like, what can I do? It's a bit different here. I wouldn't dream of buying Morgan Gibbs White personally, but I don't mind potentially sticking him on a Wildcard and punting it for a couple of weeks. Seems quite reasonable. Um, and the data's not too bad at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
I think it'd probably be a no from me,
yeah.
but I won't rule it out.
He's unlikely, but not impossible. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, correct. Great result for them. And I think they're going to be absolutely fine, by the way. That spine of Murillo at the back with Anderson and then Gibbs Wyatt, it's not right. These are top players, man. Should be playing
Yeah,
Champions League football, so they'll be fine, I think.
Elliot Anderson's brilliant. Honestly, they, yeah, got everything. Um,
Below the budget on him,
yeah,
but he won't play for your team, Jess. No, I'm well aware, but yeah, I absolutely love him.
yeah, top player. Wolves nil, Crystal Palace 2. Rob Edwards' first game at Molineux. I think Wolves gave it a go here, didn't they? In fairness, they had a. They, ultimately, Palace were too good for them towards the end, weren't they? But you couldn't accuse Wolves of a lack of effort. I don't think.
No, I think probably till the first goal, the game's pretty even, and
There's a great chance for Krejci at 0-0, isn't there? If that
yeah,
goes, you just never know. Three at the back from Edwards, two up front, Tolu and Strand Larson.
we thought it would be the three at the back, but one of the things when we did it on the weekend a couple of weeks ago was like, well, how do they stop the problems in Jules? And that's obviously how they've gone and done it is with the front. So kept it as like a midfield three, so they were okay down the sides with the half spaces and stuff. And got themselves quite competitive in the game. Bradley's on COTC this week, so we'll get a vibe from him in terms of what the crowd really feels about Rob Edwards, whether he thinks that sort of system sticks at the weekend. I think we should be a little bit cautious of attacking them for FPL purposes at the moment, but they are the weakest team in this league. There's been links to João Gomez going to Manchester United over the weekend. And if Wolves don't improve in the next month, it probably would be a sensible idea for them to maximise taking the money. Truthfully, it's not ideal, but yeah, if they didn't win between now and January, take the best value you can get from him,
Yeah,
and you're more liable to get someone overpays in January than in the summer when you know he's definitely selling. So yeah, not all well there. Rob Edwards obviously needs a little bit of time. That said, we're just talking about Gibbs White. You know, they're going to Wolves in 14, like part am attacking it, maybe. Definitely no Wolves players to consider. Be none of them going in on wild card this week. Palace players,
mm,
yeah, definite interest.
take.
Munoz, Lacroix, Pino,
Hey,
Sarr,
that was a great goal from
Mateta.
Pete. Pino's goal was great, wasn't it? It's
Yeah,
good. Good hit.
Pino's another interesting one where it's beginning to settle a little bit now. And he's clearly got a different type of ability to what other Palace players have got. He actually reminds me a little bit in terms of his movements to Coutinho.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of almost like effortless carry ability he's got him, and he's got the pass to unlock as well. This is Pete Coutinho, by the way, and I'm not comparing Pino to Pete Coutinho, but that's what the reminder is. So Pino's on radar. I'll tell you my real concern with Palace, and this is ironic. We keep talking about them not changing the team. And I think there's a chance that a few don't play at Burnley next week.
Right.
And that could include Mattel.
Sounded like he was tired, didn't he? I think I read that somewhere. That's why he only played 59. Yeah, I mean, up until the weekend just gone, I was almost certain I would have Haaland, Mateta, and Thiago on Wildcard. But maybe if you didn't have Mateta and put Welbeck and Thiago in, could you do something else with that in midfield and get a Bruno Fernandes in, something like that? I will look at that. But just because he's not returned in one game, probably don't need to overreact with Mateta. They've still a very good team with decent fixtures, aren't they? Yeah, Palace. There'll certainly be some Palace in the wild card. Daniel Munoz did great for me on free hit. He's just a player I love owning on in FPL. He's just vibes, isn't he? Just
He
plays so
is. No
well.
sooner as I said on one of the pods last week, he hasn't actually been that great this year. Yeah, pretty much open goal, 15 yards out. Cool.
Yeah, um, yeah, they'll be definitely on radar, won't they? Crystal Palace. I guess free hitters next week. What do you do there with United? Because it could be
I think
gold.
if
Yeah.
you're a Munoz owner and you're free hitting, you probably don't want to take that out.
Mm,
Bearing in mind, I guess there's a case to say you take on Arsenal this week in free hit. So Munoz, I think home fixture you'd want to keep. Rough player to take out.
mm.
And he's also a rough player to bench. Like, oh, Palace are at Arsenal. Like, I said this when they played there a few weeks ago. I know he didn't get anything, but it's like he's one of the few players that defensively I'd be quite happy to play him, even in a fixture like that. He's not definite for me. One of Munoz or Lacroix will go in, I'm fairly certain. I'm not sure about both. Chris Richards, we think, was only tightness in the hamstring, was a little bit of a problem he had towards the end of the game. He's currently sitting in my squad at the moment because he dived up in price Saturday night. That's also not beyond possibility for me. Ismail Assar, I was really hoping was going to go up and didn't because I was already up zero point 0.1 on him. And I was thinking, thank you, I'm going to nick that because I think he's probably going to go for me.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Um, really like him. But I look at that Burnley game next week. They've got Strasbourg Thursday, which is arguably their biggest game in the Conference League. United Sunday lunchtime, Burnley away the Wednesday, then Fulham away the weekend. I think that's Saturday. I want to say the Fulham game. I'll just check that. No, it's actually the Sunday. So there is a bit of spacing from the Burnley game, the Fulham game. But ultimately, you've got Thursday night, Sunday lunchtime, Wednesday night. It's the Burnley game is the danger. And it's probably the game you want it most, isn't it? Mateta also thrives off space. They're so quick on transition to play him away. Do you get that? How much did Chelsea have in terms of transition and space at the weekend? Not a lot.
I'll be very
So yeah,
surprised if I don't have Munoz. I think, although he is on 4 yellows, he's another one to think about. But cross that bridge when it happens. I think I just love having Munoz in a fantasy team. He's good fun.
does a player like that even, I don't want to say intentionally get put, but let me put it this way. I told everyone that Christian Romero would get put this week. Now, that's not like a raging, well, that's unpredictable, James. But the Fulham at home game was the best one for him to probably miss, which he's now going to miss.
Yeah,
And from Muno's perspective, is it Burnley away?
maybe so. Yeah,
Do you plan and look at the fixtures and go, right, it's United home this weekend, obviously he's available. Then it's Burnley away, it's Fulham away, it's Man City at home. Do you look at that and go, well, in all likelihood, he's probably going to get put somewhere? Do you take it at the weekend?
there's some logic to that. There is some logic to that. I wonder whether that does go on. Whether managers say to the players,
100%.
"Get booked, try and get booked here."
100%.
Good one to miss.
Yeah, Romero's got put yesterday for having an argument, mate.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's intentional. Listen, it's Romero, so you never prove it
It's-
anyway, right? He's a nutter. But I knew he would get puts yesterday. If it went to the end, I'm pretty sure he would have lumped someone up in the air towards the end of the game.
just a solid someone.
Yeah, just. I mean, he doesn't need encouragement, Romero, anyway.
Yeah. No.
Mind you, we have definitely sat here in this equation plenty of times and gone, I think this player gets put this weekend, and they haven't. We had one, was it Jackson years ago? He was on like 4 yellows for about 2 months, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah.
So, look, players become more aware of it. I don't know. I think Oliver Glasner's an intelligent man. That's all I'm going to say. So, you
Yeah.
and I have to think about that going into this week.
Yeah.
Because the problem with 14 is the midweek fixtures. I need someone like that available because I'll be sitting here with like Timber don't play, and this is where Van Dijk comes back to you. Well, Van Dijk will play. Okay, I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about that. Do I want like Twanzabi's coming into the team at home to Palace, for example? I think 14 needs a real. What's my worst case scenario here? You don't want a wild card, and then the following week you're looking at your team that's like a mess.
Yeah.
And by consequence, you might look at someone like Munoz and go, "Do I need to dip him out here for like a Newcastle player for 2 games or something like that?" You might end up in that scenario. So Munoz isn't definite for me.
Yeah.
But I might end up with Munoz and Lacroix. Mateta is not a definite for me. I think he probably will go in, but yeah, I got a bit colder on it. And then Ketcher being back fit, I think that also has a consequence for Pino and Sarr that he's gonna nick bits off all of them, I think.
They've got a hell of a lot of games, haven't they? Palace with the Europe and Carabao Cup. Yeah, it's a busy period. They can't just keep going.
Well,
I don't think.
Mick McCarthy, mate. They can. And so far, that's largely what it's been. It seems like they're very much kind of just doing the games as it stands. But
Yeah.
there'll definitely be some Palace. I'd be very surprised if on wildcard there's no Palace defender in there. There's definitely one going in.
Same. Newcastle 2, Manchester City 1. This was lively, wasn't it?
It's good. It's good fun.
2.41 versus 2.46 XG. So City probably feel a little bit aggrieved not to take anything.
Yeah, easily could have gone the other way.
Yeah. Having not had Haaland on my free hit, possibly dodged a bullet here. Just looking at his underlying data, 5 shots, 1.27 XG. He had that big one-on-one, didn't he? That he sort of made a little.
I don't know why he don't just take it round.
Yeah. Pope. I think he was surprised to see him, wasn't he? Almost.
Maybe. Pope is a very underrated sweeper keeper. We've said that a number of times on this pod. But once he's there, he must see. I think just push it past Pope's left foot. Worst case scenario, Pope's going to bring you down and get sent off. That's the worst case scenario here.
Yeah.
If Haaland pushes the ball, no one's catching him.
It's one of those games, isn't it, where Newcastle they're going to turn up, aren't they? Home game under the lights, big game. These aren't the games that you kind of doubt Newcastle will put in a performance. I was looking at they only had 9 shots, and it was 4 each from Harvey Barnes and Nick Voltemade, 1 from Bruno Guimaraes. Absolutely nobody else had a shot, so their opportunities came to the same players. They had Lewis Hall back at left back, didn't they? Who made a huge difference.
Yeah, man.
When you've got him and Livramento as your fullbacks, you're just a much better side, aren't you?
I don't know why I went all 16 now. Yeah, man.
yeah, bro.
Hall and Livramento at fullback we've said recently that their big problem is creativity. And I'm telling you, the fullbacks fix a lot of that, particularly Lewis Hall.
Yeah.
But Dan Burn was suspended.
Does he come back
Eddie
in?
Howe loves him.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that Fabian Schär played. I think Fabian Schär played well. Botman and Burnham both more natural for that left-sided centre-back position. I think the crowd will go absolutely mental if he takes Malik Chow out of the team, and I can't see that happening. Malik Chow was right on radar for me for this wild card at 4.9. And it's part consequence of Hall being back available as well. I don't think Hall at 5.2 is not quite worth the justification when we're coming into a period. There's a lot of fixtures. Does he play Everton Saturday, then Tottenham Tuesday? That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Burn left back at Everton and then Hall plays home to Tottenham. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So I think Chow is the choice centre back for me. And there will be little bits of Defcon. I think he's got him in the last 2. I want to say as well. It might even look a little bit better than that. Defcons, James, find them. Yeah, 10 and 15. That's the 4 times now he's hit it this season. It has admittedly been in some of the tougher games. But I think he's decent, Mike Chow. We wanted to get to this point and invest in Newcastle. So Chow's right on radar for me, and so is Voltemade. I really want Voltemade for 14 and 15 for the Tottenham and Burnley home games.
I think what I'm probably going to do is go without them at the start, Newcastle, because that Everton game, kind of not really bothered about, but having those punt, because I'm already carrying 1 transfer as well, so I've got another one in the pocket. So get to those Spurs and Burnley games and have probably at least 2 I can imagine me going Voltamada probably and a defensive asset.
The Brentford to Newcastle on off is interesting, I think.
Yeah,
So Thiago into Voltamade and back again.
yeah,
Otara into maybe Gimerez and then back again. Gimerez has been quietly doing quite well in fantasy this year. That was his third double digit haul in home games this season. Across his last home games, 10, 10, 14. Last three, 34 points his last. So that's what I'm saying. It's like Tottenham, Burnley. Do I want Bruno Guimaraes long term? No, but with him, it only takes a little bit, and it might be a haul there in one of those fixtures. And he's the one that tends to be box crashing more than used to be Joel Linton a lot more. It's not so much now. Guimaraes is the one that's joining in and really getting into the box. So I don't advocate him as a long term fantasy pick at 6.6, but for 2 weeks, yeah, I don't particularly mind that. And then if it's 2 weeks, I think just put him there.
it's good
And it's
intel.
3 weeks, and then I'll move him on when I get to 16. Um, the awkward one I found in my plan is actually looking at what transfer to maybe make in 15 itself. And it might be that a lot of us land there, and it's like, I've got one free transfer, I know I've got to use it. Oh, Newcastle home to Burnley, go.
Yeah,
You've probably missed the haul against Tottenham in game week 14 before that, guys, seriously. So if you said to me Gordon's out for another 3 weeks, yeah, Harvey Barnes, great. But I know that it only take one disappointing Barnes performance. Gordon will come back in, you know.
yeah, agreed.
It's what Gordon brings them in terms of the pressing at the top end. Eddie Howe really admires. Gordon is definitely favoured over Barnes. I don't think there's a circumstance. I say it's not a circumstance. It's not a circumstance where we regularly get Barnes and Gordon both playing. I don't think. Jacob Murphy does such a great job for that team.
Langa's not in the
And
team at all now, is he?
I don't. Well, Anthony Langa's just not
Yeah,
hit it off,
yeah,
basically. And until Visser gets back fit, then you're probably getting Alanga used how he was right at the end of this game, almost like a impact kind of pacing behind
yeah.
substitute centrally. It's
Finisher.
worth remembering in the spring period he played centrally kind of alongside Chris Wood quite a lot. So he's not hit the ground running really. It's not been as people would have expected. I don't think there's many Newcastle fans sitting there going play Alanga over Murphy at the
No,
moment. I don't think they are.
I don't think so.
We shouldn't rule Trips coming back into teamers and when available as well. Also wasn't fit at the weekend. So I think Chow is the one defensively. Midfield, I've got an eye on Bruno Guimaraes short term. Barnes needs to be consequence of what happens with Gordon. Voltamado, I'm very interested in.
Yeah,
And I know there's people on Voltamado not that happy. I'm very interested in him.
he's a good player. I like him. He's very different, isn't he? I like the way he plays. City. I mean, we need to talk about City. They are next 2 or 3 games. They've got a hell of a run, haven't they? But it's are we still buying someone for buying's sake, other than Haaland, or feels like oh,
First thing to say is it's the last time I sit here this season willing Man City to win a game of football. It's wasting my time. Um, that Saturday was a bad consequence for my team. I'm not using that as any excuse for what happened yesterday, but it was a bad consequence of the weekend. It didn't help. All of them went to the game knowing, oh yeah, them two have slipped up again. Great, yeah, brilliant, terrific. Yeah, City players for me, straightforward choices really. O'Reilly, Doku, Haaland. I think they'll all be in.
still having Doku. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's going to go in. I think he's playing really well. He was great in the first half. What he's doing better now is his timing of release of pass. We used to joke about this a lot. Like I bet Haaland hates him.
yeah,
See that chance that Haaland missed early in the game? He knew that Doku was going to play it.
right.
I think he hesitates on that. It's such an obvious and easy pass and run. I think Haaland double hesitates on that because he thinks, oh, this boy likes to carry it, doesn't he? No, he's making the right way to pass at the right time now. So he's showing a little bit more maturity in his game. He didn't particularly like scoring at the weekend, but these returns that you've had have been decent. Feel like they could drop in a home game. Am I going to punt him in? Yes, probably.
Fixtures are there, aren't they? Phil Foden
It's,
played well,
it's,
didn't he?
it's the free home games. The problem
Yeah,
with Phil Foden is I feel like he's starting too deep in build up
yeah,
to justify paying for him at 8 million. If people want to take a swing at it, particularly on free hit, if people want to take a swing at it this weekend, I think that's absolutely fine. He's shown the 2 goals he scored from distance against Dortmund. We know what's in the locker. As an investment, no real interest.
Yeah,
actually. No.
yeah. It's it is City time. I think definitely. I find it very hard to not put three in on Wildcard with the fixtures that are
Yeah,
on the
got him.
horizon. I've got
Got
to,
him.
yeah. And Doku with the
The
home
only
game.
concern about what I'm putting in is it play or not?
Yeah,
But what I do know with those two players, O'Reilly and Doku, is they are first choice. Nico O'Reilly is playing too well for Ray and Ait Norrie to be a major concern at this moment. Now, does Ray and Ait Norrie take some minutes here somewhere? It probably does. Yeah. Nathan Aki takes some minutes somewhere, right? But Nico O'Reilly is playing too well at the moment not to stay as Manchester City's first choice left back. Now, back in the day, this time last year, I think we're all steaming now. The difference now is we look at him versus Lacroix and we go, Palace probably more stable defensively. Lacroix is as big an attacking threat as O'Reilly, arguably, in terms of the aerial set plays. Lacroix is more likely to get DEFCONs. And now we've got a debate. We're playing this same game this time last year. None of us are picking Lacroix over O'Reilly, I don't think.
yeah,
We got to go for it. And we're on wildcard, David, and I think we've got to go for it.
yeah.
I'm
You got
probably
swing
going
on.
both just for clarity, by the way. It might well be where I end up. I think O'Reilly over Nunes is worth the saving.
I agree.
Um,
Worth saying with Ait Nori as well, he'll go to AFCON, won't he? So O'Reilly should have that spot sealed up for the mid to long term, arguably. Yeah, feels like a good opportunity with O'Reilly,
I
doesn't it?
presume Nate Norrie would be selected. I don't know if his injury would.
Yeah,
Surely he still goes, doesn't he?
I'd imagine so.
I would
Yeah,
think so.
he's available, isn't he? Okay.
Yeah, I think Doku over Cherky, personally. I felt that structure with Cherky off the right didn't work so well at the weekend. And they'd swapped Foden and Bernardo Silva around in terms of their position versus Liverpool to what it was in Newcastle. And Foden was in relationship with Cherky way more in the first half. And I felt they were trying to operate in the same areas. Whereas Bernardo Silva would drop a little bit shorter, almost come from out to in, whereas Foden's actually starting deeper. But I felt they were closer together. Foden's relationship with Doku, I think, works a bit better. So we'd like to see Foden back in that area. I wouldn't be surprised if Reinders comes back in the team.
I am so happy to say Reinders is no longer in my team. He's been an absolute pain in the arse.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you now, David, that Manchester City's highest point scorer at the weekend will be Tijani Reinders.
Tijani
There you go.
Reinders, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how this game works.
Plus Kane Dewsbury Hall, plus Elliot Anderson. All these players who've been really getting on my nerves. They'll go this week, and they'll be. That's the game, isn't it?
Look, a bit more information on City, obviously, with the Leverkusen game. I'm not too concerned about the rotation element, actually, in the sense it's Leeds Saturday. Probably more concerned about early subs, like, oh, they're 3-0 up, take them off. Then Fulham, and then there's a good break till the Sunderland game. So I'm not hugely concerned. Like, for Haaland, I'm not concerned that there's rotated minutes here for the weekend. If people want to triple captain him, go for it. What do you think 13 versus 17 for triple captainers?
Um, 17's West Ham, is it?
It is.
I feel like 13 probably. If you're not going to, you might want a free hit in 13 if you've not used it. But West Ham, mind you, they've conceded a boatload of XG against Bournemouth there, haven't they, West
And
Ham?
individually, they're shit. Sorry. I such wouldn't say any different if it was
climb
sitting
off,
there.
climb off the fence, mate. Yeah, either are good options, aren't they? I mean, Leeds' away form is rotten, isn't it? So it's either are great options, aren't they?
Yeah, but Rodon might if Rodon's the one that ends up latching onto him, he might enjoy the Joel.
Yeah.
Haaland will eat Tadibo, Kilman, Julio, whatever plays there. That's so I still prefer 17. I also think it's a little safer from minutes perspective. In the sense it's Carabao cut the midweek before, but more importantly, City have a week off after West Ham. So there is a scenario here. Let's say City are 3-0 up at half time at the weekend.
Yeah.
Now, Haaland might already have a hat trick at that point. I get that. Could he be taken off? I think yes. That West Ham game, there is no need for Manchester City to hold back for any reason. Don't play for a week afterwards. Just on that, I fancy 17 more.
We're saying they'll also lose Marmoush to AFCON as well, won't they? So they will have to be careful with
He'll
Haaland.
probably be gone at that point.
Yeah. Haaland will be the only option really as a striker.
Oh, that's never the only option for Pep. They're too vulnerable, man. Still, they were a bit unlucky at the weekend, but they've lost 4 games.
Yeah.
They're not. They need to go nearly faultless to put themselves in I don't think they can do it.
No, agree. On to yesterday's games. Leeds 1, Aston Villa 2. A little bit unlucky to lose this Leeds, I think, weren't they? They were good in the first half.
I don't know, mate. I was walking around Drayton Park with my head down. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get onto your lot in a bit. Yeah, Leeds played pretty well in the first half. Emery just looked, he had this pained expression on his face throughout the entire first half, when really wasn't enjoying what he was seeing. Goal of the season contender from Lucas Mecha. Have you seen that goal?
I've seen the bits last night. Yeah,
yeah, 2-2 for him, but I don't think anyone's going to go there, are they? He does look like he's the main man now, isn't he? The Calvert-Lewin's not in the side.
It won't take it won't take much for Calvert-Lewin to nick that back. I wouldn't. If people think 5 million regular starter,
yeah,
I'd probably rather you looked at Fleming.
Two nice goals from Rodgers though. Like the first one's a really deft finish, and the second free kick is
I love the equalising goal. That's a really cute finish.
Yeah, great technique for this free kick as well.
Yeah, his interview is quite good as well. I only took it because Buendia was off. I practiced them, but not as much as I should.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
it's not bad, mate. I think that's the first free kick he's ever taken actually in the Premier League. That. So yeah, nicely done. Rough. I saw a video going around of behind the goal of like, Lucas Perry is terrible. I don't know really what he can do, but he can't see the thing. And when he first catches the ball, it just in his eye line, it must look like it's going over.
Yeah,
it must
dip on it. Yeah,
yeah. Leeds, unfortunately, it's continual problem scoring goals, but we scored one here, James. Yeah, but look at it, like it's not a goal, is it? Nice handball from Calvert-Lewin as well. Could have made it 2-2. I still think most teams going to Ellen Road will be absolutely delighted walking out there with 3 points.
Oh yeah.
But they're not going to score enough goals. And it's beginning to feel like Wolves, Burnley, Leeds, isn't it? West Ham and Forest have picked up a little bit.
Yeah,
it's beginning to feel that way. I said, I think on the pod we did before the internationals that Farke was under real pressure now. But everything I've heard actually says that they played okay yesterday. The problem is, even if you did want to change, City away, Chelsea at home, Liverpool at home, Brentford away, Palace at home. Fucking hell.
Good luck. Yeah.
Rough that, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Villa are doing all right, aren't they? They've put some. Arguably, the results have been better than performances, I'd say, but you can't fault the results. They've been Seelman's back in the team now. That makes him tick a lot better, doesn't he?
Yeah, although I think Anana's been playing well with Kamara.
Yeah. What's their run like? Wolves at home next. I guess you probably have 3 Villa on free hit. Did you say?
I mean, do you though? Because I'll be asking Lee this. I think I know what he'll say. Watkins,
yeah.
Do you put him in on free hit just because of the opponent?
There was some signs of life yesterday, I think, but he did still get hooked.
Yeah, and they've got a game Thursday, and then they go to Brighton Wednesday, and then they play Arsenal.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like the minutes concern is Sunday. It's Wolves. I want to say they got young boys at home. I think Thursday, so you would think he probably doesn't start that, but I still think in the Wolves game, if I look at Watkins, I think he ain't playing 90 minutes because Emery will still want him for the Brighton and Arsenal games. Fairly sure of that.
Yeah.
So. But Rodgers is different animal. Mr. Indestructible, as we called him all of last season. Yeah, Morgan Rodgers, as I said earlier, that's and almost by consequence of Watkins, I don't want Watkins. You feel forced to go Rodgers as well. You got free hit this week. No Villa at home to Wolves.
Oh, you're having Rodgers, definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because I think one of the things on free hit, isn't it, is try and go for good assets for that 1 week in particular that most other people aren't going to get there. And I think Rodgers falls under that category now. The timing feels right for free hitters, I think.
And I might join them.
Yeah. You could start with him on Wildcard, couldn't you? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I could bin that, like I said, for Newcastle player 14, but also I've looked at a route at it where I could probably bench him against Arsenal in 15, which actually with him, he's not the sort of player you should, because actually he quite enjoys some of the more space he can get in those areas against some of the better teams. We saw that opening quarter game at Liverpool recently. If you do skip out the Arsenal game, then it's like, oh, then it's West Ham away. Well, United at home, it's not too bad. Oh, then 20 to 22 is quite nice. Now, I want to remind people that he's not really been an asset all season. And whether he's worth 6.8 versus a number of the other players, Minter, Zutara, as we mentioned, stuff like that, I'm not convinced. His XG for the season is under 1.
Yeah, it's not been fun owning him, I can tell you that.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
He was the one in game week 1, Rodgers versus Semenyo, and it's the coin landed on heads rather than tails for me there. It's not been massively enjoyable, but 2 nice goals at the weekend. Yeah, I think for free hitters, if I was on free hit, I'd definitely be having Rodgers, I think, and I'll look at it for wildcard. Yeah,
XG per 90 under 0.10.
Yeah,
and with Rodgers, bear in mind, he is nearly 90 minutes every game, nearly, right? So this is what he's providing per game.
Yeah.
That's not great. He scored a free kick from distance. The other goal he scored this season, bar the 2 yesterday, was the long-range goal at Tottenham.
Yeah, great goal. Yeah.
The beautiful finish for the equaliser yesterday, as I said, but that's almost unusual to him to get into that sort of position. If I go there, I think it's set for 1 week. I think. Yeah, he does go in on a free hit, though, despite all this with the data. He goes in as much because the opponent. Yeah. And because I don't think many will want Watkins.
I agree.
If you're free hitting this week, Matty Cash.
I was going to ask you about which Villa defender you'd go for. Yeah, he's probably the one with the biggest upside, I suppose.
I think so.
Yeah.
And it's an old FPL pick, isn't it? Rather than not really get DEFCON. You hope he gets an attack in return.
Luca Dean went off at half time yesterday for Ian Maatson, so that's a little bit murky, I guess. Cash feels more secure, doesn't he? You could maybe have Emi Martinez as a keeper, I suppose, couldn't you?
Yes, you could. Yeah. And with Martinez capable of pen save, the opponent gets one and stuff. Yeah, I want to watch out for a little bit. And you know what? This could land great. He's Marlon, who we spoke about quite a lot in pre-season. From the little I've seen of the game yesterday, looks like he was brought on at half time, kind of went up front with Watkins and had a real impact on the game. We spoke about him a lot in pre-season because it was quite hope about his minutes there. That's not really there. Now, if Watkins was to play 90 minutes on Thursday, do you get drawn into him? Oh, I think he's going to start against Wolves now.
Could be a trap, couldn't he, Marlon? I think
5.1.
I know, he's cheap, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's the sort of one where it's like, oh, you're having a wild card, James. If Ollie Watkins breaks down this midweek and I'm looking at him at 5.1 for a little bit, I'm thinking, well, I'm probably going to pay for that rather than pay for Potts. And he's playing against Wolves and he's my 8th attacker afterwards. And I might take that sort of view on it.
Yeah.
Defensively, no interest.
No.
Free hitters, I think you look, but they're the worst pound for pound team in the league for DEFCONs. So no, I don't think Lee will tell us much different on COTC this week. Leeds, no interest really. So Bijol too rough.
Bijol came out of the team, did he? For
yeah, so Strout played, so it's default back to Rodon. And at this stage, having not been on, I think he's a big threat from set plays and stuff. Do want to pay 4.1 for it when I'm ultimately he is only going to be my 5th defender? I think probably not. Actually, Ethan Ampadu's doing well for DEFCONs, 4.9. No, thank you. Stack went off injured in the first half. Tanaka actually, as a substitute, picked up DEFCON. Am I paying 4.8, 4.9 for these guys? No. Am I looking at Mecha? No. I'd rather Croupy go if I was going to take that sort of route. So,
agreed.
No, Leeds off table. Think there could be a change of manager. There will be one, I think, but I don't know if it's like now or in March.
When the fixtures get a bit better. Yeah. Okay.
Arsenal. And that's all time we got time for. Just I need like a Bugs Bunny. That's all, folks.
Oh, mate. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1. I mean, if you expected it to be bad, but you didn't think it was going to be that bad, did you? Surely it was.
Oh, there's no ounce of me that expected to get a result yesterday. Absolutely,
I know that.
None. Did I expect to see my team barely have a pass in the opposition half in the first half? No, I didn't think it'd be quite that bad.
Yeah,
And yet, truthfully, coming up to the half hour mark, I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't standing the ground thinking, well, the worst bit's gone here, and it's still 0-0. And after the really early Declan Rice chance, they hadn't had a big chance for a while. Few set play stuff, Saka free kick from wide, had a couple stuff like that. Weren't really hurting. I think quite content here. And I knew what type of strategy was going to be in terms of like if we had free kicks, Vicario. I said this at the weekend. Vicario would be just smashing it in the box, and they're going to try and win second balls and stuff. Nothing ever came of that. The problem was, it wasn't the play in the back five. You knew that I thought that's what he
yeah,
would want to do, and we discussed it on the weekend. He's fine to play that. The problem wasn't the system. You saw a week earlier with Sunderland that actually probably the best way to probably nullify them probably would be to play that system. A massive difference between Sunderland and Tottenham. Aggression. Aggression. Both in dueling, but more importantly, actually off the ball. Being aggressive in their defensive third, mid block, middle of the pitch, low block when they hit the final third. Fine, now make it difficult. The other thing I always forget with Thomas Frank is bloody obsession with wide areas. Both getting crosses in, although I don't know how our wide players were ever meant to do that. I think the first cross we actually put in the box was probably Paulinho overhit with about 10 minutes to go. But also in the wide areas, about obsessing out there. There's in the same, I'll stop the cross. Then space for the likes of Declan Rice on the second goal, Eze on the third goal. You've overcommitted. Good team's going to manipulate you. This is where I come back to a lot of stuff I discussed on Patreon about like there's a level ceiling here that he ain't going to get to. He's not going to be the guy, and I'm not sitting again and sack him, right? Because I
no,
think with the quality of players we've got, there's no point really anyway at the moment. I think this is going to be a bit of a nothing season for us, and that nothing season might be that we might still qualify for some form of European competition because I've got idiots around me in the same position in the league who are like miles better, but that's where they are at the moment. That's your team, David, obviously. But I don't suppose anybody would sit here right now and go, do you think Tottenham finished above Liverpool? Go, no, you're drunk. The underlying data for Tottenham has been suggesting week on week on week that the results were way better than what both the eye and the data was telling us. And a slapping was due. And there'll probably be another one at Newcastle next week. And there'll probably be another one in Paris this midweek as well. And they might be way too fatigued to get anything against Fulham at the weekend as well. Now, if all that happens, so problem is, doesn't necessarily matter what I as an individual may or may not think. And if you said to me, "Oh, Thomas Frank's been sacked," checks phone. I'm not bothered, David. But I'm not in a position going, "I'll sack him" either.
no, I know.
But the fans have seen way too much crap football. I sat here a couple of weeks ago after we lost to Chelsea, and you go, "Okay, it's bad. They're a very good team." If this was a one-off, you go, "All right, it's a one-off." But it wasn't because I watched the same game against Bournemouth. I've now watched the same game even worse. And each game has mattered a bit more in terms of you losing to your biggest rival yesterday, right? Getting your pants pulled down. So every Tottenham fan who's gone to work or gone to school or whatever today, you know, you're not just got beat. You get beat, it's fine.
Annihilated.
We got
Yeah,
embarrassed in terms of the quality
yeah.
level between the two teams because there's nothing unjust about the scoreline or anything like that from yesterday. And even a little bit, you go, well, we went there in the first 15 minutes, we had a go and it was too good for us. There's nothing that you can walk away from and hold on in any way from that as any form of positive whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the fans who Arsenal and Chelsea would be the two main games. Fortunately, he did at least win at West Ham, which is something that Ange couldn't do. But the fans are, not going to settle for that. The losing's
No.
fine. No one's stupid. No one doesn't think Arsenal are worlds better. But put something in. And also the system, as I said, is fine. The implementation of it in terms of the off the ball, one or two things happen. Either he got it badly wrong in terms of how he set them up, or the scarier bit, and this might be what happened, they weren't listening to him. And I think it's possibly the latter. And that's why you do have to look at this. Because the one thing I know about Thomas Frank's Brentford, I used to say this all the time, they are probably the best team in the league in terms of transitioning from high press. And you'd be like, oh, you beat their high press. And you blink and you're all behind the ball, low block. And you're like, oh, fucking hell, have they done that? Tottenham try and lay any form of glove on them yesterday. I don't believe that he didn't want to press them at the top end of the pitch. I just think they had an inferiority complex, truthfully. Now, it
Yeah.
might be that they panicked and they couldn't follow it because ultimately you can set out a team and have instructions, etc. But if players, Ange in Europa League final, you think that was Ange's tactics? No, someone's knocked on Ange's door and gone, listen, we're in a bit of trouble here. I think we've probably got to play this way. And there's probably an element of that, the performances in Frankfurt and Europa League final, to little bits of what you saw yesterday. Oh, actually, we're under problems here and they're too good. Retreat. The
I
retreating
think
bit at the final end is fine, but they also overloaded too badly to wide areas, allowed too much space into central. And in the two-thirds ahead of that, like the press is, you won't see much worse from any team in the league all season.
I think what you said is spot on. You could, of course, you can Arsenal away, the best team in the country. You can lose that game,
And they were brilliant.
but there's a way of losing, isn't there? And
Yeah.
it was when you don't see any sort of fight from your team. It's like that first goal from Trossard. You shouldn't be allowed to be able to take a touch in the box like that for Trossard's goal. There's absolutely,
It's a brilliant
it's a great
pass
ball.
from Marino.
It's a great ball from Marino, yeah, but it's it's bad. The golfing quality between the two teams was pretty eye opening. I've got to say. Not
Well,
that,
the difference between the teams is, in summary, was they're the best team in the league,
yeah,
and my team is at best someone who might challenge for seventh, eighth,
yeah,
maybe a bit higher, subject to consistency of others. And yes, we have to acknowledge there are some players still missing, like Kulusevski might make like a quite a bit of difference. By the way, I would like to see Xavi Simons just play central midfield for us
yeah,
because them in the middle of the pitch. I mean, Paulinho is just a tackler. It's literally all he is. And Bentancur again didn't play well. Again, it's Bentancur that gets taken off rather than Paulinho. And guess what? It was a period at the game where we'd got a goal, and you thought, I didn't exactly think maybe, but I thought, well, I might walk out of here with something less than brown trousers. And and then it gone to shit again.
we
Anyway,
do need to give Arsenal some flowers here. I think, don't we?
no,
Rather than
100%. That their performance
like,
at the same time, despite everything I've just said, their
yeah,
performance is outstanding. That's strong. Everything that you'd have wanted from them in terms of the physicality, the speed of the game, the taking advantage of the opportunity that was given to them from the results on Saturday. You've still got to go and deliver it.
yeah,
They had a few people question them after the Sunderland game. They themselves have still got no Gyökeres, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Madueke kind of fleeting appearances. Gabriel out.
yeah,
That causes it all. Hincapi. I mean, put some pressure on the boy, right?
yeah.
Man might be smoking a spliff the whole game. I've no idea, mate. It's that easy for him.
Eze's day, wasn't it? Really, I mean, the goals he scores,
And do you know
just
what? I've not got
class.
any. I mean, again, Frank, you can tell this is building, right? So Frank says on Friday, have you seen this? He gets asked about Eze in his press conference on
He said
Friday.
who didn't he? Yeah,
Fucking hell, mate.
yeah,
Like, honestly, what are you doing? I don't have any. I've seen people choose to go to other clubs rather than us. There's the old Emmanuel Petit cab story and Willian going to Chelsea and stuff like that. I don't have any ill feeling towards Eberechi. One is a really difficult person, I think, to dislike. And I knew it, even in that kind of 24 hours, it was like, he might be coming to us. All the way through, it was like, I know if Arsenal come in, that's where he wants to go, and that's his club. And I don't have any ill to him. And that story for him is great in terms of his journey and a career. The goals from the Arsenal perspective are brilliant. He scored three
yeah.
brilliantly. The two finishes in the second half are great finishes.
Vicario makes a great save for another one, doesn't he? Like Eze could have had another two on top of the three he
He
scored.
could. And I tell you what, they did really cute. A little bit of a tactical trick. And I think this was part, Arteta knew what Frank was going to do. Me and Clates had quite a bit of a discussion last week about Marino. And he expressed concern about Marino playing as the nine, like just a little bit more toothless. It's not really his position. But I tell you what, Marino played a role really cute yesterday. I don't think Gyökeres could have done. So Marino kept dropping into the right half space. People who listen to this podcast will know I'd said a number of weeks ago, try and get Eze in that left pocket where it opens up the angles for him a little bit better. He didn't quite do that, but because Marino kept almost dropping into the sort of area you'd expect Odegaard to pick up quite a lot. So trying to draw people out from him. Remember, it's creating overloads because Tottenham centre-backs were too scared to go and press. It meant that Eze could just take up more of a nominal 10 position. So he was coming onto things in a more central area. There's no surprise that he's got one to go left, scored, one to go right, and scored. Yeah. So it was something. I think Marino had a subtly quite a big impact on Eze yesterday
Yeah.
as a consequence. He's sitting in the wildcard team at the moment because
Yeah.
I want to
So
get 0.2 out of it, but I don't intend to go with him. I
it feels
don't
like
intend to go with Saka.
could be points chasing, couldn't it? Going with Eze beyond the week that's just gone. It's like,
The thing is though, this it's like timing wise is bad for Arsenal because arguably they've got the toughest game of all this weekend. Like I
yeah,
mean this genuinely. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea beat them about 1-0 at the weekend. I don't think it's going to make a difference for the title race or anything. But that's as hard a game as I think Arsenal will have. And I think Chelsea set up really well for the big games now. I think we saw that a lot last year. Think of their two performances against Liverpool, for example. So it's like, oh, it feels a bit awkward. And also, I look at 14, I think, yeah, the players you want might easily get rotated. Then it's
rotated.
Villa away. Villa have sorted themselves out.
Yeah,
Again, we expect Arsenal to probably have too much in that one. Then it's 16. They rotate. What's the consequence of the buying game? So the buying game's not that important because they both got 100% record. But if they lose it, they might think, oh, okay, bit more eyes on the Champions League games, make sure they finish top eight. I'm sure they will. So I'd said to you last week, I thought it was a lot to learn about Arsenal assets coming into this week because of the buying game as well. I bought Timber at 6, is at 6.3. That almost feels like I've got to keep him at the moment.
yeah. I'll be keeping Timber, I think. Yeah,
Hincapi, again, see what happens Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure that'll play. We might have more information on Gabriel, but now if Gabriel's out for 2 months, do you look at him and go, I'm going to pay 5.4 for that?
Rice as well, isn't there? There's still loads of options despite Arsenal's fixtures
Rice
taking
is
a bit of a
almost, it just
downswing.
feels like he's going to, one way or another, pick up like 5-6 points every week.
Yeah, and then I guess depending on is Gyökeres not far away? Do we think? If
No, it's not enough to be considering Marino.
yeah, right. Yeah, Arsenal's an interesting one on wildcard, but it feels like I mean they're just clear best team in the country. It seems
Do you
daft
go
not
any on
to
free hit?
this week.
Yeah,
I think you take them on free hit Chelsea way.
I think so. I think so. I'd say the one I'd be half tempted to put in this week is Mr. Two Pointer.
Who's that?
Raya.
Right. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, if you got the money, because if they went there and won 1-0,
You could get shot
you,
points, couldn't they?
you
Yeah.
might get more out of it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bonus.
and
Bonus is on the table.
they're very capable of going to Chelsea and win. But they don't need to. Arsenal go Chelsea and draw at the weekends. Good result.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they're so much better than the others. I don't know if any Chelsea fans would treat it as a bad result either.
Could be an
Truthfully.
honourable draw.
They could even.
Yeah.
I don't listen. You putting people like Casado and Rice up against each other. I
Yeah.
don't think there's going to be any give for each other on that. It'll be a very competitive game. But yeah, there's a scenario where both teams end up content with a draw. I think. I don't think Chelsea's objective is not to win the league. It could be if they win Sunday, they're probably going to okay. But I don't think that's their objective. Their objective is to probably just be closer
Yeah.
this year. I'm nowhere near the firepower of Arsenal. Again, think of them players have got to come back in the team.
I know. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah. Which
Yeah.
which 3 Tottenham are you having on wildcard?
I can tell you there will be no Tottenham wildcard. There's no doubt. I'll give you a name to consider for free hitters. I'll see what Ricky says about this on COT. So, but Brennan Johnson is a name that I think could be decent for free hitters. He's suspended for Wednesday in Paris.
Right. That
Just
makes it
getting no
interesting.
minutes there.
Yeah.
Kudos is obviously so important. Then we go to Newcastle on the Tuesday. Kudos is playing, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
The one trait that Johnson has, and I actually reflected on the game yesterday on the way home and wondered if Johnson should have played. And most of you know what I think about him. But if you're going to go that direct as we were and play some form of fucking anti-ball, we only had players who want. Odegaard wants to come to the ball. Kudos wants to come to the ball. Richarlison, they all want to come to the ball. Didn't have anyone that wanted to do that the other way. And that is a trait that he has, without a doubt, is you fire him over the top and he's a speedster. Probably ain't going to do shit when he gets there. But actually, I reflected on it and wondered if he should have played. And if there's a chance that Kudus doesn't play against Fulham, I see no reason why Johnson doesn't. And also as a consequence, it could be close to 90 for him. Might not be. But I would think that Brennan Johnson would start on Saturday. And free hitters looking for opportunities and stuff might want to look at it. Now, do I pick him over Rodgers? No. Do I pick him over Utara? No. Do I pick him over Doku? No. So he probably isn't room for him. But if people want a rogue one, I can't believe that I'll do a draft with you on Friday and he'll be in it.
No.
But that would be the one. There is no reason to have any Tottenham players. If you've got any Tottenham players, please sell them. Like, come on.
I was going to say, there may be some who get to wildcard with some value in Van der Ven, maybe. Would you still just bin him, do you think? Yeah.
Bin. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play at Newcastle.
Right.
Because he's now got to play the Arsenal PSG Fulham games.
Yeah.
So I even think about that. So there's every chance Danso plays with Romero at Newcastle. Dragashin's close to fit. Davis, Kota Takai, they're all close to fit. We have got some bodies getting close back to fitness. We need Solanke, Kulusevski, like clearly before this can be a discussion again. I really want. He won't do it, but I'd love to see Xavi Simons tried in central midfield for a game like Fulham next week because I need someone in the middle of the pitch that the centre backs can pass the ball to and can turn. At least he's calm, and actually he's not providing anything at the top end of the pitch. So
creativity, yeah. Let
me have a look at him deeper.
Yeah,
I can't see that he would take that sort of move, but yeah, I'd like to see it. Do you know what? Yesterday didn't hurt that much in a weird way. It's like if the difference is that big, if we're winning 1-0 and equalise in the last minute, I'm telling you, I walk out more gutted than I did yesterday, if that makes sense in a weird way. It's nothing you can do than just have your tail between your legs and just accept they're absolutely miles better and know that, we were so bad that it wasn't anything to be upset about.
Fair play. Well said. Very brave of you to speak so openly.
I ain't got much fucking choice, David, really.
If I had to talk Liverpool, you had to talk Tottenham. We've both done our job there. Should we finish on...
You could disappear. You could say, I don't fancy this podcast like anymore.
No, I'm with you.
Thanks, mate. We go through this together, shall we?
Yeah, exactly. This is like a therapy session, this, isn't it?
We'll be running round Woolwich with our European Cup. I haven't got long left of that either. That's what I'm more scared about. It's not them winning the Premier League. I'm not scared about that at all. I'm already like, well done. It's the Champions League stuff, mate.
Fair play. Should we finish with a couple of questions?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I've fired up Twitter. James Nelson, should Hall and Livramento start as fullbacks for England? I don't think there's a better pair when fit.
I mean, I would have no problem with that. I think Reece James is a nice structural place in that team for England in terms of like you can push him on, you can tuck him in, you can push him into midfield. There's a lot more things you can do with Reece James rather than a Livramento. I think Livramento, it might even be the best pairer for Gordon. Ironically, I think of the performance in Serbia on that left-hand side. Yeah, I'd love to get Lewis Hall involved. He's got to. The thing with Lewis Hall is he has to be fit and available for the March Internationals. Has to be, or he's not going to make it. So whatever happens between now and then, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but he's got to get himself into that squad in March because I think otherwise he's just going to go, I don't know you, so I'm not bothering.
Yeah,
because that's kind of what he's created at the moment, Thomas Tuchel. But yeah, the both of them would be shoo-ins for the squad, at least for me personally.
Certainly Livramento can play both sides, can't he? He'd be very, very handy to have in a squad. I think the others, to be honest, mate, we've covered sort of going through the games themselves. So, don't think there's anything else that's not been covered, I don't think.
All right. Thank you. I'm off to have some absinthe. Was it one shout out one of our patrons, Brian Robinson, who'd messaged on Saturday and he said, I'm feeling a bit more confident as it comes round. And yeah, absinthe was it, mate? Because there must have been some hallucination thinking we was going to get anything now. Right, I'm going to go before this becomes a big moan about Tottenham and life. Right, smash a like, hit the sub button. For the audio listeners, a 5-star review goes a really long way. Thank you all for your continued support. If you can or would like to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. As always, everyone, please be nice to each other and play it your way. Cue music, please. Man, sharp.